There you go. I was wondering what I was going to talk about in my video this week, and I happened to see this sign. I think it's a sign from God. Several passages in the Bible state that God will grant any request that you make, as long as you have sufficient faith. But even the faithful know that that's not true. They'll admit as much when they spout the usual platitudes like, God has a plan, or, maybe the answer is no. But no matter how you rationalize it, when some church posts an empty promise on its marquee, I think that's just false advertising. But that doesn't stop the faithful from believing. They'll still find ways to imagine that God speaks to them, sometimes in visions during moments of prayer or during dreams. That's what I want to talk about today, because I've had experiences with both of those kind of things when I was a practicing Christian. And I feel I should warn you up front that this story might not be suitable for children. My mother had a saying. When she wanted to talk about something that she didn't think was appropriate for children, she'd say, well, we'll discuss this more when little ears aren't around. So if you got little ears around, send them out of the room, okay? I was raised with mandatory church and Sunday school attendance, and I was confirmed in the Lutheran Church. I remember once in high school, I had a friend who was wondering aloud if maybe these stories about Jesus had just been made up, that it was just a big lie that had been foisted off on all of us. And I said to him, no, Clay, there's no way. Man, these are eyewitness accounts, and too many people saw it. There's no way that anybody could make as many people as they have believe this. That's honestly, that's what I thought. So I tell you this just to explain to you that I was a real, earnest, and profound practicing Christian. I was in my junior year of high school, and later that year there was this girl that I was dating, and as it happened, she had a jealous ex-boyfriend who was kind of hacked off because she'd started stepping out with me. And he made some threats toward me, not to my face, not directly, but to some mutual acquaintances. And then later on the word got back to me about it, and I don't know, maybe it was teenage angst or hormones running hot or whatever, but it really pissed me off, And on top of that, I'd taken karate lessons since I was 14 years old, and I didn't put up with all the bruised ribs and busted lips and bloody noses to take a bunch of crap off some guy just because he thought he could assert ownership rights over some girl. And well, I wanted to go mix it up with this guy. I wanted to go kick his ass, and I was just really angry, and I was all set to go get in the car and go call him out. And it occurred to me that this wasn't a very Christian way to act. So I got off by myself and I started to pray earnestly. And here was the deal. I really wanted to go and mix it up with this guy, but I knew I shouldn't. So I prayed to Jesus. I said, Lord, help me get past this temptation. Help me out, Lord. And I had my eyes closed and I was there. I was praying, and I could see in my mind's eye, I had this eidetic vision where I could see my hand reaching up to his hand. And I could see his hand reaching down to mine. And I knew it was the hand of Jesus, the way when you see these kind of things. And he took my hand in his, and he clasped my hand in that kind of 70s bro style handshake, and guess what? It was the hand of a black man. And buddy, I'm going to tell you something. I was shocked. Not that I'm a racist, and not that I have anything against black people, but this just totally surprised me. I was not expecting this. Every depiction of Jesus I had ever seen showed him as being clearly Caucasian, and here he was, a black man. And then all of a sudden it occurred to me, well, of course he's a black man, see, because he can be black or brown or red or yellow. He can manifest in whatever color he wants to, because the skin color is only superficial. You know, underneath all that, we're all part of the family of humanity, and you know, I had this big kumbaya moment there by myself, and all of a sudden I realized, well, I wasn't angry anymore, and I didn't care about going over there and starting a fight with this dude. And you know, Jesus had answered my prayer. He had reached down, touched me, taken my hand, and removed the bitterness from my heart. So, you know, it only served to cement my faith. I was a true believer. Then, fast forward a few years. I've had a few other moments of epiphany, sometimes in flashes of insight, sometimes in dreams, visual representations, similar to what I'd seen before, things that sometimes surprised and shocked me. But still, I was vexed by the fact that God didn't always grant your requests. I mean, it's not like I was asking to win the lottery or anything. Usually, these prayers weren't even for me. They were for other people. I was asking Him to protect the health and well-being of people close to me. And when He didn't do that, well, I found it rather disappointing. So I was in prayer one time, and I was wondering, why don't you grant these requests? And I had another vision. Now, bear in mind, this was during a time of serious emotional distress, and I don't want to go into details, but I had this vision, and you're going to think this is kind of strange, but I saw Jesus. I saw Jesus. He was standing there in front of me, big as life. And I knew, in the way that you know when you have these kind of visions, this truly is Jesus. Now, He wasn't a black guy this time. He was more the regular Caucasian Jesus. But He was standing there, and He had this object sticking out of His ear. It was a kind of a, it was a cylindrical object, and it was about that big around, and it was sticking about that far out of His ear like this, you know. And I was looking at it. It was a shiny black plastic cylindrical object, and all of a sudden it hit me. I knew what this thing was. It dawned on me that this was a well, how can I put this? It was a vibrating personal massager. It was a dildo. You know, there was Jesus. He was standing there, and He had a big old dildo sticking in His ear, you know. And I was shocked, and you know, and I just kind of blurted out, "Jesus, Lord, why do you have a dildo in your ear?" And He just kind of puffed up, sort of. He kind of got bigger, bigger, and started to get more and more radiant. But like, I just screamed it again, "Jesus, why do you have a dildo in your ear?" And then He looked at me and He said, "What? You'll have to speak up. I can't hear you. I've got a dildo in my ear." And there you have it. I think that was His way of telling me that when God doesn't answer your prayers, it's just because He didn't hear you.